So students are now coming to a point where they are actually confused between which of these two qualifications to choose, ACCA or Actuarial Science. And it's a little confusing to us because the two, generally when students are confused, they're confused about courses that either they don't have information about or that are very similar and you really can't spot the difference. But ACCA and Actuarial Science are quite different in almost all aspects. So in this video, we're going to talk about the differences between the two and how, if you are one of the confused candidates, how to make a decision for your career between these two courses. So first of all, I've said it a lot of times, I'm saying it again. ACCA is if you are interested in the field of chartered accountancy, which means you become an expert in the field of finance and accounts. And ACCA, like our Indian CA, covers everything in the field of finance and accounts. So that's the syllabus. Now with Actuarial Science, the entire curriculum and entire learning is about one of the most complicated subjects in commerce, which is risk. So if you have no idea what risk is, that's where the confusion might stem, whether you should do Actuarial Science or not. And you can talk to a lot of people who are in this field of risk management, risk advisory, and even who are actuaries themselves to understand risk. For those who are confused, I'll give you all an example of what risk is all about and what you would do in Actuarial Science. So many people think that Actuarial Science is all about the insurance world. That's not actually true. Actuarial Science is more used in the insurance sector, and here's the reason why. I'm assuming most of you guys have either taken a life insurance on yourself or in your family, somebody who is the earning member of your family has a life insurance on himself or herself. So just to make it quite basic and simple, let's say that I am the earning member of my family and I am worried that if something happens to me, if I lose my life, my family will be left without anybody to fend for themselves. So what do? I go to an insurance company and I tell them that please give me an insurance that if something happens to me, you guys give me 10 crore rupees, give my family 10 crore rupees. Insurance company says, okay, but in return, I have to, for the next 30, 40 years, give them something known as a premium. The premium they will calculate and say it is, 2 lakhs a year. So I will think to myself that should I pay them 2 lakhs a year for the next 20, 30 years for the security of my family, or should I not? Most of us will say, let's pay it because I would rather pay than have my family left alone. The key here is, I said I want 10 crores and the insurance company said I have to pay 2 lakhs a year. How do they calculate this 2 lakh rupees? The insurance company does a lot of work on that. It's the amount I've asked for. I've asked for 10 crores. They look at my background. What am I doing? What is my earning capacity? Can I pay? What kind of premium? What is my health like? Am I genetically basically more likely to die early on? What is the statistic of accidents in the city of Bombay, in Mumbai? They look at so many factors because that's the risk which the insurance company is taking on the fact that I will survive or not. Right? And that's how they calculate. So there's a complicated calculation, and that's an example of what an actuary does. So an actuary plays a lot on statistics. Some people think it's maths. It's less of maths, it's more of statistics. And it's about these kind of aspects. This is an example in the insurance sector. That way, risk actuaries, people who understand risk, are required more and more in all industries. So that's what you do as if you actually go down the path of Actuarial Science. Coming to the academic bit, right? Both you are eligible from grade 12, although ACCA, as if you've seen our other videos, you can also be eligible from post grade 10. But most of us are going to be taking this post 12. So the confusion can start then. So you can start both at the same time. Both have an exam by exam system, which means ACCA has 13 papers, Actuarial Science I think has 15 papers. You give paper by paper, give one at a time, two at a time, three at a time, clear them, and then you move forward. So that's the way the curriculums are set. ACCA is, you can complete all the papers in around 2 to 3 years, maybe work simultaneously and start your career as a global chartered accountant. With Actuarial Science, because it's such an incredibly difficult course, I've heard that it's the #1 paying job in the US, at least it was a couple of years ago. So if it's a difficult course, there is also that much of a reward at the end of it. And in India, what happens is you can start, and I've heard that even if you clear 4-5 exams, which are already difficult, you can start working in a really good profile. And then unlike CA or unlike ACCA or CFA, where you finish your education at the earliest and then start working, In actuarial, you can't do that because it takes years and years to complete all the exams. Many people drop out at the eventual papers. So what you do is you clear a few papers, start working, and then simultaneously keep giving exams, one exam every 6 months, two exams every year, and approximately on that average, because each paper and each step forward in actuarial science is a huge step forward. Because I also remember reading that the amount of candidates which have completed the entire actuarial science course in India are, I think, less than 600 candidates. That's all. And that number has not changed almost in the last 10 years. Do you know what that means? That means there are barely a handful of people who can actually complete the entire course. And imagine if you are one of them. Your demand, your ability to bargain with any company, because all companies will want you. You have more to offer than probably any other course, including MBAs and engineering and anything else you take can offer, because this program is not only that difficult but that valuable. So if you prefer that, look, I can't take that longer risk because I don't know if I'll complete it, one of the other solutions are you take a course like ACCA or CFA, something that you feel is in your world of understanding, finish that course, and as soon as you're done, you can then probably shift back to actuarial. Whereas if you start from actuarial, it might be a little difficult. So there was this one student a long time back called Akshita. She decided to do both ACCA and actuarial together. I mean, there are candidates who can do literally anything. She completed ACCA. She's still not done with actuarial science. It's been 4 years since she started ACCA. But that's the whole point. And finally, when it comes to your career, we made a lot of videos on ACCA and what your career can be. Essentially, in India or overseas, you can work in multinational companies as a chartered accountant in the field of finance and accounts. You can work in small companies, you can work in India, you can work overseas. That's the scope of ACCA. You get paid almost as that of a CA. When it comes to actuarial science, what starts happening is the pay increases on a per paper basis, and it increases tremendously. Also, because there is just the current supply of actuaries are less, all the more value that is bestowed upon you. That being said, there is supposed to be a huge burnout for actuary because it's really hard. So really difficult actually. If you start actuarial science, they say that, lock yourself in a room for 5 years and throw the key away, because that's the kind of time and effort you need to complete this. If you are confused about which course to do and you're just trying to collect degrees and that's why you were confused, hopefully the first step should be clear for you all, as in whether you should go for finance and accounts and chartered accountancy, or you should go for risk and statistic based qualification. If you're open to both, then you guys can decide based on the duration, based on the risk. When I say risk reward, I mean the effort to reward ratio of a course. You can think about the scope. Those who are confused have had some more clarity on this. Reach out to us in any case if you want to understand more. And if you do take a decision based on this video, please post it in the comments. Guys, we are present across all social media channels: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Quora. So if you have any queries about any of these courses, please do reach out to us any of these places, as well as our official website www.zelleducation.com.